So welcome, Stephen McPartland to Cyber UK. Really glad to have you here and welcome to Cyber UK TV.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much. It's great to be in such a wonderful studio.
So it's your first time at Cyber UK. What's your first impressions been and what are your thoughts that you've experienced so far today?
So I think for me, I did the Cyber First dinner last night as well, and I think the energy is one of the main things that's come out. So you've got a very diverse group of people, lots of different companies, great sponsors, and that is wonderful. But I think one of the things that I've really loved is the work around the Cyber First programme. So we saw the awards last night for some of the outstanding students and some of the sponsors supporting them. And today we've already been seeing children who are actually working as part of their outreach programmes and cracking Enigma codes and everything else. And then you've got cyber games, which is also super exciting. So I think it's just that energy and, the idea that we're not just reaching into industry and business, but we're actually reaching into the supply chain of the future workforce, the future leaders. That's what I find exciting.
Fantastic. Why do you think it's important that we're kind of bringing together academia, technology, government into one event and one place?
So I think with cyber security, cyber technology, I like to think about cyber resilience and recovery as well. You need all those cutting edge ideas formulating. So you need industry, academia, a variety of different organisations, government together, because by working together, that's how you can actually get those ideas going. You can see it here. There's a general fizzing. There's an excitement. People are interacting. It's clear that a lot of people know each other. They've worked in industry. They've worked in government, they've worked in academia. It's actually one of those wonderful industries whereby people are moving and flowing through the different organisations of the economy. So that's what's quite exciting. I quite like that.
Great. You mentioned Cyber First, and one of the big challenges that we have as a sector is increasing and growing the skill pipeline and making sure that we've got a workforce fit for the future. What's your thoughts on that?
So I love Cyber First. So I think one of the things that people are not aware of is, since its inception in, I think it was 2016, they've had 250,000 students through, which is astonishing. But the bits that I particularly love is 42% of those students have been female, and the huge number ethnic minority. And it's much more diverse in the broader sense of the word of diversity. So you've got ethnic diversity, you've got geographical diversity, so people from all over the country being able to access the skills, and then you've got lots of neurodiverse individuals involved in it. So it's a very welcoming, caring industry where people can have a go, and things like cyber games gives the opportunity that don't know what you're good at until you actually have a go. And I think Cyber First is great at doing that. So I really like that. It's not possible without industry getting behind it. I think there's been over 5,000 hours of industry this year alone actually getting stuck in, and you can't do that without industry support. And then and people always love return on investments, and the social return on investments over £4 for every pound that gets put in. So Cyber First is just fantastic. It's something I particularly love. I think that is building the workforce of the future.
Great. And across the conference, we've got loads of different themes coming out. We've got themes about threat, about resilience, about building an ecosystem. Are there any particular areas you're excited to get stuck into while you're here?
So I love all of it, but I think one of the things that goes back to my review, one of the areas that I'm particularly interested in is supply chains and resilience and recovery. So, you've got everything from ecosystems, threat intelligence, right the way across to legal, insurance, financial. We can talk about that. But for me, it's the whole ecosystem of cybersecurity. That's what I find exciting. It's something for everybody, whether it's academia, government or industry.
And I know your review isn't out yet, but is there anything you can say to whet our appetite about the outcomes?
So I think with the recommendations, the idea was to not be talking about cybersecurity as a narrow industry. I think that's one of the issues that it's got. It's about changing the narrative. So it's about making cybersecurity an enabler of growth. So it's not being a defensive measure. It's about being something that can create lots of jobs and opportunity. So, there's lots of statistics around it. Something like in 2017 to 2023, the number, if you use a very narrow definition, it went from around 30,000 jobs to 60,000 jobs in that very narrow definition of it. The revenues were 5 billion up to 11 billion in that period. 2 years of that was COVID. So people working from home as well. So the economy was suffering. And then if you look at managed service providers, those revenues are around 60 billion. So it's already a huge part of our economy. And we're talking possibly 100,000 jobs by 2030. And that's on very very narrow definitions of people actually doing technical cyber jobs. But if you're then talking about, people providing cyber services in the finance world, insurance world, legal world, it's much, much bigger opportunities and great jobs. And the idea behind the review is actually, how do you go out there? How do you make the UK a global cybersecurity technology superpower? And we've got an incredibly, as we've seen from Cyber First, trained workforce, ready and willing, able to get in there. We're a very highly digitized economy. We've got all these opportunities and advantages. So what are the barriers? And that was the review. So we did 26 roundtables in about 6 weeks. And
fast work.
Yeah, I think Net Zero did 50 in a year. The idea was we had about 350 companies at those roundtables, and they alone had about 1 million SMEs in their supply chains. So it was actually getting out there, talking to the wider industry across the whole economy, not just cyber, and getting those organisations to understand the importance of cybersecurity. So if you think, we're global leaders when it comes to insurance, finance, legal in particular, and we want cybersecurity to be that fourth pillar that then underpins the other three as well. We have great trust across the whole of the world. People trust our services, they already buy them, and we just want cyber to be part of that. But we have to change that narrative, and we also have to elevate it so it's not seen as an IT issue. It's seen as a board level risk and governance issue. But to do this, we need to make our economy more resilient. And in order for it to be resilient, that means that we have to get the supply chains to actually be more cyber resilient and be able to focus on recovery. So cybersecurity is not just about one defensive little bit, it's about the whole of the company itself. So if there was an attack, well, how can you cope with that attack? How can you recover from it? How quickly? So there's a whole variety. And, I have a company in my constituency, which I'm not going to say who they are, but they have 3,500 SMEs in their supply chain. And, people don't appreciate how complex some of our advanced manufacturing is and how big the supply chains actually are. So you can actually do quite a lot quite quickly.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you for taking the time to appear on Cyber UK TV, and hope you have a great time.
Cool. Thank you very much.